This episode contains graphic descriptions of violence, sexual assault, and disturbing criminal conduct. Some listeners may find the content distressing. The events discussed involve real victims and their families. Listener discretion is strongly advised. September 23rd, 1597, St. Helier, Jersey. The setting sun cast long shadows across St. Helier Harbor, painting the sky in shades of blood and fire. A bitter wind carried the stench of unwashed bodies and fear as the crowd pressed forward, their breath visible in the autumn chill. You could taste their hatred in the air, thick, metallic, like copper pennies on your tongue. There she stood, Perenelle Chevalier, more creature than woman now. Her matted hair hung in greasy ropes around a face ravaged by weeks in the castle dungeons. The rags that clung to her skeletal frame reeked of filth and decay. Yet it was her eyes that drew your attention. Wild, defiant, holding secrets that made your skin crawl. The evidence had been irrefutable. Neighbors testified to seeing her dancing naked under the full moon, her body writhing in unholy ecstasy as she cavorted with dark shapes that were not quite human. Cattle had dropped dead in their fields, their eyes turned milk white, their tongues black as coal. Children spoke of a woman with Perenelle's face visiting them in nightmares, promising them sweets if they would only sign their names in a leather-bound book. The pyre had been built with methodical care. You can see the pitch glistening on the wood, smell its sharp, chemical tang mixing with the salt air. The executioner approaches with his torch, and the crowd's anticipation becomes a living thing, electric and hungry. Women clutch their children closer. Men grip their tools tighter, all eyes fixed on the condemned witch. As the flames catch, Perenelle begins to laugh, a sound that raises the hair on your neck and clenches your jaw. It is not the laugh of a human being, but something otherworldly, high-pitched screeching. The sound cuts off abruptly as the smoke engulfs her, replaced by a screaming howl that seems to come from the depths of hell itself. Then, as the flames lick higher, Perenelle's voice rings out one last time, clear and chilling. "You fools! You've killed a woman, but you cannot kill what I serve. It will return, and Jersey will burn again." The heat hits the crowd in waves, forcing you and the other witnesses to step back. The flames rise higher, their orange tongues licking at the darkening sky. Through the fire, you swear you can see shapes dancing, twisting, celebrating. The crowd's prayers grow louder, more desperate, trying to drown out the unholy sounds emanating from the pyre. Some fall to their knees, crossing themselves frantically, while others turn away, unable to bear the sight or the smell of burning flesh. And as Perenelle Chevalier burns, something seeps into the very soil of Jersey. A darkness that will sleep there for centuries, waiting for another vessel, another monster, to give it form once again. Welcome to the Beast of Jersey. I'm your host, Johnny Lama. What you've just heard isn't merely history. It's a prelude to another dark chapter in Jersey's story. One that would begin almost 4 centuries later, when a different kind of monster emerged from the shadows. In 1960, the people of Jersey thought they had left the horrors of the witch trials hundreds of years ago far behind them. The island had transformed into a bustling tourist paradise, its dark past seemingly forgotten. But as a new wave of terror gripped the community, whispers began to spread. Whispers of an ancient evil reawakened, a malevolent force that had been waiting patiently for its chance to strike again. The similarities were chilling, like the accused witches of old, This new threat seemed to move unseen among the islanders, striking without warning and vanishing into the night. And just as fear and suspicion had torn the community apart during the witch trials, so too did this new menace threaten to unravel the very fabric of Jersey life. As the attacks grew more frequent and more brutal, the people of Jersey began to wonder, was this the work of a mere man or something more sinister? Had the evil they thought they had vanquished centuries ago finally returned to claim its due? This is the story of the Beast of Jersey, a tale of terror that echoes through the centuries, a reminder that the darkest chapters of our history are never truly finished. Join us as we unravel the shocking truth behind the island's most notorious crime spree and explore the chilling parallels between the horrors of the past and the nightmares of the present. By 1960, Jersey had transformed itself into a tourist island. The narrow cobblestone streets of St. Helier, once echoing with the cries of suspected witches, now thrummed with the excited chatter of holidaymakers. Sleek cars replaced horse-drawn carriages, and modern hotels and shops had sprung up where ancient cottages once stood. The island's economy, traditionally reliant on agriculture and fishing, had diversified. Tourism was booming, with over 300,000 visitors arriving each summer to bask on Jersey's pristine beaches and explore its picturesque countryside. Financial services were also on the rise, with banks and businesses attracted by the island's favorable tax laws. But beneath the veneer of progress and prosperity, an ancient evil was stirring. It began with whispers in the village pubs and corner shops, strange sightings, unexplained noises, a figure glimpsed lurking in the shadows. At first, the islanders dismissed the rumors as mere gossip, the overactive imaginations of children and drunks. But as the year wore on, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Children spoke of a boogeyman who watched them from the shadows. Women reported feeling a presence in their homes at night, a sense of being stalked by an unseen predator. The Jersey Evening Post, September 15th, 1960. Police investigate reports of masked man sightings. The article quoted a local mother, Mary LeSueur. "I woke in the night with the feeling of being watched. When I looked to the window, I swear I saw a face, a horrible mask, peering in at me. I screamed and it vanished." As the attacks escalated, so did the island's fear. Each capture and torture of a child on the island grew more bizarre and sinister, innocent children surviving to tell horrific details of torture that led them to the brink of death. Children were kept indoors after dark, doors and windows bolted against the night. Men formed vigilante patrols, stalking the lanes and beaches with torches and pitchforks. But still, the beast evaded capture, striking with impunity, leaving a trail of broken lives and shattered innocence in his wake. The Jersey Evening Post, November 3rd, 1960. Island gripped by fear as beast, claims another victim. An editorial on the same page lamented, "The very soul of our island is under attack. The beast, whoever or whatever he may be, threatens not just our safety, but our way of life. We must stand united against this menace, or see our cherished community torn apart by suspicion and dread." August 14th, 1970. A warm summer night in the parish of Valley des Vaux. A 13-year-old boy, safe in his bed, dreams of the adventures the new day will bring. But the figure that looms over him when he opens his eyes isn't a phantom of his imagination. It's a living nightmare. The beast, in his terrifying mask, shines a flashlight into the boy's face. Paralyzed with fear, the child is helpless as the intruder leads him out into the night to a field behind the house. There, on a makeshift bed of the beast's own raincoat, the boy endures an unspeakable violation. When it's over, the beast returns the boy to his home, but not before issuing a chilling threat. If you tell anyone, someone will harm your mother and father. Traumatized and afraid, the boy remains silent until morning, when he finally finds the courage to speak. The description he provides is both familiar and frustrating to investigators. A man with black spiky hair, wearing a mask that has haunted the nightmares of Jersey's children for a decade. But this attack provides a new clue, a glimpse of the man behind the mask. The beast, it seems, is growing bolder, more reckless. He lingers at the scene of his crime, allowing his victim a precious few seconds to study his face. It's a small detail, but one that will prove crucial in the hunt to come. As news of the attack spreads, Jersey realizes with mounting dread that the beast has returned. But even as the island trembles, investigators are working tirelessly behind the scenes, piecing together a profile of a predator. They know he is meticulous, patient, and ruthless. They know he has an intimate knowledge of the island, able to navigate its darkest corners with ease. And now, thanks to the bravery of a young boy, they know he is growing more confident, more dangerous with each passing day. But the beast, in his arrogance, has made a fatal mistake. He has given someone a glimpse of his face, a tiny crack in the mask he wears, and the people of Jersey will not rest until they have torn that mask away and brought the monster in their midst to justice. July 10th, 1971, 11:45 p.m., Route de Four, Saint-Helier. The streets were quiet, save for the occasional roar of a car filled with tourists, their laughter echoing in the night air. For police constables John Riseborough and Tom McGinn, it was just another routine patrol. But that was about to change. As they sat at the traffic lights, a long coach full of holidaymakers pulled up alongside them. That's when they saw it. A small Morris 1100 saloon on the far side of the coach, brazenly running the red light and speeding off into the darkness. The officers gave chase, their siren piercing the night. But the Morris wasn't stopping. It flew down Cleveland Road, swerving erratically, the driver seemingly possessed by a reckless abandon. At the end of the road, where it should have stopped at a yellow line, the Morris instead took the corner like something out of Bullitt, tires screaming as it careened over the white line and sideswiped an oncoming vehicle. Riseborough and McGinn could scarcely believe what they were seeing. This was no joyrider or drunk tourist. This was someone who knew the island's roads intimately, someone who could navigate the narrow, winding streets at breakneck speed without hesitation. The chase continued, the Morris leading them on a wild, terrifying ride through the heart of Jersey. Down Havre de Pas it raced, the small car bucking and weaving like a wild animal. Onto Green Road, then St. Clement's Road, the officers struggling to keep up as their quarry pushed the Morris to its limits. But it was on La Blinnery Lane that the driver made his most audacious move. Cornered, with nowhere to go, he did the unthinkable. He smashed through a wooden gate and launched the Morris across a tomato field, soaring over an 8-foot bank and hedge in a stunt that left even the veteran officers stunned. The chase ended there, in that field, the Morris impaled on the sturdy bamboo canes that had been supporting the tomato plants. Riseborough and McGinn approached cautiously, weapons drawn, unsure of what kind of madman they were dealing with. But as they drew closer, they realized this was no ordinary suspect. The man who clambered out of the wrecked car was wearing carpet slippers and woolen gloves despite the July heat. And when Detective Marsh began to search him, his fingers brushed against something in the lining of the man's coat, something that made his blood run cold. A mask, a crude, terrifying mask, the likes of which had haunted the nightmares of Jersey's residents for over a decade. And with it, a roll of surgical tape, the beast's tools of terror. In that moment, as the reality of what they had found sank in, the officers realized that this was more than just another arrest. This was the end of a reign of terror that had gripped the island for far too long. The beast of Jersey had finally been unmasked. But the true horror of what lay behind that mask was another story yet to be told.